And we're down to our final finalist this evening, Urvashi Sahni, the founder of Study Hall Educational Foundation. Urvashi and her team have been working towards providing quality education to girls at risk, disadvantaged children, and the differently abled for the past 31 years. Under SHEF, Urvashi has established 3 K-12 schools that directly provide education to over 4,000 students. With an eye on scaling up, SHEF has partnered with 993 government schools in states of Uttar Pradesh and Rajasthan. In the last 3 decades, study halls programs have impacted the lives of more than 500,000 girls. Here's a look at Urvashi Sahni's story.
The reason for starting it really was a discontent with education and actually my own education. I felt that I'd gone to a very good school, St. Mary's in Pune, which was considered one of the best in the country at the time. And I did very well. And I was married off very soon after. I was just 18 when I was married. And pondering on that, I really looked at my education and felt that it didn't deal with any existential questions, and it didn't really teach me how to live and to face some of the challenges I had. I started a women's organization called Suraksha, which is still alive and kicking. This was in 1983. And what led to the forming of that was my own cousin, who had gone to a school like mine. She burnt herself. She was in Delhi, married to a chartered accountant. And the shock of that an educated girl from a background like mine could do that or have it done to her, we don't know exactly which one. How did her education serve her? She had a bachelor's degree. Very soon into it, I understood that, a standard academic education was not going to empower girls. It hadn't empowered me. I couldn't stop my very early marriage. It didn't empower my cousin. She couldn't face the circumstances, the gendered circumstances that she had to. And it doesn't empower many, countless other educated women. So definitely the pedagogy had to be different, and the whole approach had to be different.
This is how Urvashi Sahni's quest to build study hall began. A school system aimed to answer the existential questions that children face. What started in her garage in Lucknow in 1994 with a handful of students is today an amalgamation of schools, digital learning centers, teacher education programs and partnership with state governments of Uttar Pradesh and Rajasthan that has impacted the lives of lakhs of youth. And through this journey, the pillar of the Study Hall Education Foundation has been its unique pedagogy based on critical dialogues.
At Prerna, which is our school for girls, very early, almost a year or two into the school, there was high absenteeism, there were dropouts, and we were struggling. When I sat down with a bunch of girls who had dropped out from school and had rejoined Prerna, and what I found that in these dialogues, which we call critical dialogues, the girls were not only telling their stories, but in the telling of their stories, they were finding a new understanding of themselves, a new almost construction of themselves. And in that, collectively, as we were listening to each other's stories, we were building a new sense of who we were as equal people.
In terms of measuring impact, across all the cohorts that have graduated till now, 97% of the girls have transitioned to higher education and 52% of the graduates are today employed. Interestingly, 3 years ago, the group founded the Prerna Boys School with 150 boys from very low-income backgrounds with the goal of helping them develop a feminist consciousness as well. And it was to the same end that Study Hall established the Vidyasthali School, an affordable co-educational school in Malihabad village, 32 kilometers away from Lucknow in 2005. The school presently educates over 500 children from 55 villages, and the mission here is to encourage children to critically examine the prevalence of caste and gender-based discrimination as well as focus on rural development. So while the pedagogy at all study hall institutions involves students playing an active role in their own education, the role of the teacher as a pillar of support within the classroom and outside cannot be dismissed. In fact, back in 2005, At a time when video technology and the internet weren't ubiquitous, Urvashi Sahni started the Digital Study Hall program to improve the quality of classroom teaching.
We put in place a very simple idea that we were videoing good classes. We only have 2,000 videos and more, and we are serving a very large number of schools. We have put it online, which is free of cost, and we have over 2 lakh visitors to our site who are using the videos. And very recently, we've been invited by the national teacher platform, Diksha, which you must have heard just got launched recently. And all our videos will be taken up by them to be used by teachers everywhere in the country.
Study Hall also manages 16 nurturing education centres in very low-income neighbourhoods in and around Lucknow to help children who are currently out of school transition into formal schooling. Study Hall was also one of the first schools in Lucknow to have an integrated program called Dosti for children with special needs. Today, it imparts education to more than 100 physically and mentally challenged children across the age groups of 6 to 21.
We scale in terms of going school by school by school. We have set up our own college, that's our latest venture, and we want to have a very strong teacher training college there, and we want to influence other teacher training practices. And most importantly, we want to work with governments so that we can influence the government school system, because I believe that it is actually the government's mandate to educate its millions of children. The private sector should only be supplementary.
3 amazing social entrepreneurs who made the job of the jury really, really difficult. The winner of the Social Entrepreneur of the Year India 2017 is Miss Urvashi Sahni.
We have a democracy, but it's not a functioning democracy because we have not taught our children how to be fully democratic citizens, and that's what education should be doing. We have reduced it to reading, writing and math, and we keep saying, oh, children can't read, write and do math. What about the children who can read, write and do math? Are they more evolved in terms of are they becoming better citizens? Why do we not utilize children's time that they spend in school in more meaningful ways and give them something more meaningful to think about, to critique, and to make that part of the knowledge that they gain and they construct?